So last day, we started talking about how do we add and subtract numbers. And the first model we're talking about was just drawing these little circles with plus and minus signs on them. They're called integer chips, right? That's just a good visual way of representing what is happening. So just to remind you how that works is you look at your first number and you draw that out. So we have a positive 7, so we draw 7 circles with plus signs in it. So that's how that one works. So 7 circles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus signs, and all of these. Okay? Okay, so next, after you've drawn that, we looked at the middle symbol, right? And we use the phrase add for the plus sign, and we use the phrase take away for the subtracting symbol, right? So if it's a plus sign, we're going to add on whatever chips shows after that. So we're going to add on 4 circles that are negative next. And that's how that works. We're going to draw 4 negative circles this time. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And I like to stack the positive above the negative. Okay? Why do we stack the positive above the negative? You remember what happens next? Max?
They cancel each other out.
They cancel out. A positive and a negative cancel each other out. So we pair up the positive and negative, they'll cancel each other out. So these cancel each other out. Then these pair up and cancel each other out. These pair up and cancel each other out. And finally, what color I haven't used? Blue. These ones pair and cancel each other out. And whatever is left over is our answer. So what's left over here? Positive 3. Okay. Let's do another one here. We look at the first number, and what are we drawing? Negative 8. So 8 circles with minus signs in it. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And after that, we look at the middle symbol. We see a little plus sign there. It says we're going to add on, draw some more chips. And how many more chips are we drawing on? Lucas, what do you say?
Positive
3. 3 circles with all plus signs. And we're going to stack the plus signs below the minus signs. So 1, 2, 3. Then we pair up and cancel. Okay? All right. So you go, these cancel, these cancel, those cancel. And what is our answer? Minus 5. We have 5 negative chips left over. The answer is minus 5. Okay? So the progression we're going to go through here is, the first method is this. We draw these chips out. Right? It'll get you to the right answer just really slow. Then next we're going to go to another model, which is called a number line. Then after the number line, which is a bit faster than these chips problem, we're going to go straight to just be able to do it 100% in our head. Okay? So I'm going to talk about the number line here. Okay? So let's draw a number line here. Put a 0 in between, halfway in between. And we're going to go all the way to 10, positive 10 on the right-hand side. We're going to go all the way to negative 10 on the other side. So draw 10 little numbers. Lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And go backwards as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And go -2, -4, -6, -8. Now, if you look at my diagram, what I just drew there, I didn't label every single tick mark. You don't have to do that. I have a spot for 1 there, but if I put a 1 there and I put a 3 in there, my diagram is just looking messy. Then it actually becomes harder to read. Right? So sometimes it's just nice to just write down the numbers for every second number. Just so it's easier to read. And just the first couple of times, I'm making you draw these out for purposes of assignments and stuff like that, and quizzes and tests. I'll give you a pre-drawn number line. I think there's a little bit of value for the first few times just drawing it out. Okay, so how does the number line method work? So you take your first number. First of all, has everybody done the number line? Yeah. Rowan?
I learned how to do this in grade
Good. Right? Because now the thing is different between what you did in elementary school is the negative stuff. Right? So we're trying to make connections back to elementary school. So we put a dot on the first number. Right? Okay. Now we look at the middle number. We're adding +5. So adding means moving to the right. Right? We're getting bigger when we're adding things, right? Especially adding positive things. So we're going to go moving 5 spots to the right. So this is how the number line goes. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to put a little arrow there, and that is our answer. And you, like Roman said, yeah, you've been doing this since like elementary school, right? So the harder part is with negative stuff. And the good thing about this is you've done it for such a long time, and you sort of know how it works, right? So my answer to this is equal to 9. Okay. Let's skip D. And let's do E, okay? Same thing. I want you to draw a number line from -10 all the way to +10. All right, so do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6, 8, 10. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, once you've drawn it out, put a dot where the first number is. So the first number is +6. Put a dot on +6. Okay. So this time is a little bit different than last time. Last time we're adding a positive number, so we move to the right. This time we're adding a negative number. What do you think we do?
Go to the left.
We go to the left, right? And how many spots are we going to go to the left?
9.
9. So we count back 9 spots, and where we end up is our answer. Went 6 forward, 9 back, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What number are you at?
-3.
-3. Okay? And that's what you're used to. You've done stuff like this quite a bit. Okay? What is new for you guys in grade 8 is the next page. Okay? So I'll let you guys all write that out, and then we'll skip a couple of questions here, and we'll go on to the next page here. All right. Okay, so let's look at this one. See, the number line's already drawn for you. It's nice, right? So the chips, we're going to use the number line here. We put a dot on the 5, positive 5. And what are we going to do next? Are we going to go left 3 or are we going to go right 3? Left. Right, so we have a minus sign, and it means to subtract, to go take away 3. We're going to take away 1, 2, 3, and where we end up is our answer. So what's our answer for this? Positive 2. Plus 2 or just a 2. Okay. Now, what would we do? I don't have a number line drawn here. I should put a number line here. If we had 6 minus negative 2. I'm going to draw a little sketch of a number line. First dot is at 6. Right? We don't have to draw a line, so just draw a little sketch. What do we do next with the 2? Do we go left 2 or right 2? We're taking away a negative number. Right. Hands up if you, I heard a couple of people say right. Hands up if you think it's right. Oh, 5 or so. Who thinks it's left? Another 5, no, 3 or 4 there, right? Not as clear, right? Because a negative means to go to the left, but we have, hey, go to the left, actually means go the opposite direction.
Yeah, you're getting
Right.
less negative.
Yeah, so you go less, a good way to put it on it. You're getting less negative, right? So what we have here is what we call a double negative. So think of this statement. When you subtract a negative number, it's like adding a positive. The double negative rule. I'm not going to do my homework, which means that you're going to do your homework. Good choice, right? It's a double negative, so it actually means the opposite of what you see, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this would mean we're going to the right 2. And where do we end up? Positive 8. Okay? Now, these things become confusing is when we have these double signs like this. That's where students make mistakes. If it's a plus sign with a minus sign, most people do that right. If it's a minus sign here and a plus sign, most students get that right. It's when we have like double negatives here and other things, that's when students start making mistakes. So when looking at questions like these, and we're looking at all these, look at the middle number and middle sign and the sign after that. What we're going to do is we're going to combine signs and make this a little bit easier to read. So avoid mistakes. Does it go left? Does it go right? Right? To do that, we're going to remember our multiplication rules. Right? Our multiplication rules from last week and earlier this week. If you have a positive and a positive together, what does it become? Positive. If we have a positive and a negative together, what does it become? Negative. And you have a negative and a positive, what does it become? Negative. And you have 2 negatives? Positive. All right? So we're going to use this information to make all of these look a lot nicer. So what we're going to do is look at the middle symbols, and we're going to combine them together to make one symbol. So we have a negative and a positive. What are those combined together to make? What is that? What?
Well, you're getting less positive.
No.
So you're going that way.
A negative and a positive make
Yeah.
a negative. So I want you to put a little negative up here, and we're going to rewrite this, okay, as plus 7 like this, minus 3. Now, this is going to be the where things are you ask to Mr. Dahl, why do we have to do it this way? In grade 7 and even in grade 8 right now, you're used to seeing numbers that look like this, and they're purposely put like that to make things very clear of what the number is and how the signs work. Unfortunately, there's a lot of extra brackets, which means that there's a lot of extra work you have to do. And when you get past this grade, we're going to stop writing numbers like that. There's a lot of extra things in there that we just don't need. So now this statement is going to start looking like this. Right? The positive 7, we don't need to say positive 7. Right? We can just say 7. And we don't need all this stuff. That makes it look more difficult. It's very clear, but we're going to just go 7 minus 3. Right? All right. So before we try to figure out what these equal, we're going to rewrite every single one of these into this format. Okay? Then I'll get you guys to go through every single one. So let's look at the first one here. We start off with the middle one. Middle two symbols, those combine to make what? A minus sign or a plus sign? Negative, right? We're using this information here, right? That becomes a negative. All right, and now we are going to rewrite this without all these extra brackets. The first number is a negative 3, so we'll go minus 3. We combine the two symbols together to a minus sign and a 5. Okay? And that's from this point on in your math education, we're going to stop using stuff that looks like this, and we're going to go into this. It's just a lot more cleaner, a lot more faster. Not as clear necessarily, right? Okay. We look at the two middle signs. We get rid of them with one symbol. What symbol do we replace it with? Positive, right? Two negatives make a positive. That's using our symbol information here, right? Now we're going to rewrite this. We don't need to say plus 2 because we don't need to put a plus sign in front of a positive number. We're going to write down a 2, then our combined sign, and a 2. By the way, aren't these looking much easier to add and subtract?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Next one. Looking at the two middle symbols. What do we replace them with? Negative. All right, and negative. All right, so now we're going to rewrite this. You have a negative 3 minus 2. Okay. Is this all making sense? Does anybody not have any questions with this? And have you done this before, Roland? Yes. Good. Awesome. All right. We combined the two middle signs together on this one. What do we write? Positive. Thank you. And now we rewrite. We have a negative 6 and a plus sign and a 9. Right? So whenever there's double symbols, we're trying to get rid of them and write one symbol. All right. These two. What do we write instead of those two signs? Positive. So we're going to go 4 plus 1. Okay? So now you're going to figure out the answers for me. All right? Using the math that you learned right back to grade 2 and 3, right? Look at the simplified expression. Put a dot on the first number, right? If it's a minus sign, we go left. If it's a plus sign, we go right. So we go back 3. 1, 2, 3. Our answer is 4. Okay? So try doing all these by yourself. So I'm going to just stop and do all these by yourself. And we'll go over the answers here. Oh, let's go over the answers here. Cairo, please turn around, please. Okay. First, or B here. What did you get as your answer?
-8.
-8. Now, excellent. I want to talk about what I see as I walk around. For some people, I saw something that looked like this, -3, and they went to -8. Great. Right? That should be off. All right? Shh. Right? For your answers, you want to write down -8. Just don't use the diagram and the arrow. You want to have -8 written. Don't make the person read your chart. Then some people did this and wrote -8. Then now what I'm doing is I'm looking at the statement here and it doesn't look quite right. So if you wrote -8 like that, you should also have a little equal symbol because -3 minus 5 equals -8. That's what your answer should look like. Yes, Sam. Well, no, you want to complete the statement, right? Right? Circling is good, but you want to actually complete the end, right? Because the number line is just a strategy to help you get to the answer. We are going to go away from the number line, right, and go straight to this method, right? So as we start working, we're practicing with the number line, then we're just going to go straight to doing this, and that's what we want to practice doing. Okay, so the next one, what's your answer?
+4.
Positive 4. So you should have a 0 equals and a 4 like this, or a +4. That's fine, right? You started at 2, and you moved, oops, right here. You started at 2, and you moved over 2. All right. Next one, what's your answer?
-5.
So equals -5, excellent, that's right. Okay. Next one, what's your answer? 3, thank you. You started at -6, and you moved over 9 spots. You ended up at +3. Okay. Last one. 5. You start at 4, you move to the right 1, you end up at 5. Excellent. Okay. Let's do this final word problem, then I'll give you some practice stuff to do. Suppose a temperature change from +5 to -15 happened over a 4-hour period. How could you determine the temperature change per hour? Right? Any guesses?
Of what the answer is?
Or even how to begin? Sam,
I know the answer.
you know the answer? Okay, how did you come up with the answer?
I just did 5 times 4. And it came
So 5 times 4 is what, 20?
40, but then the 15 is in the negative.
Alright. Yes, Ariana?
A number line,
E-
and I put +5 to -15, and I counted how many of the little jump thing
Yeah.
I drew, and then it was 20.
Okay.
And then you divide 20 by 4.
Okay, that is a complete process. Your process wasn't logically correct, but a good try, right? So I'm gonna kind of translate what Ariana said. There's 2 parts to this question. First part she did is determine what the change is. Don't worry about how many changed over each hour. What was the change? Well, it started at 5. went to negative 15, how much of a change is it? So if we have 0 here, and we'll just do a rough sketch here, 5 and negative 15, so we started at 5, and we went all the way down to 15. And Ariana said that's a 20-degree change, right? So that's our change. We went from, you cut backwards, that's 5 there, and that's 15 there. So we went down 20 degrees. Now, let's say a 20 degrees Celsius change. I'm going to write that down. Now, if I write down the word 20 degrees Celsius change, what does it imply?
That it changed by 20 degrees.
20 degrees, but in what direction?
Negatives.
So we need to do that negative, right? Because if I just said, hey, the temperature changed by 20 degrees and we started at 5, you don't know if the answer is 25, went up by 25, or went down by 20, right? So we have to write down, hey, it went down. So we have a negative change, right? So we have to have the negative thing. Then her next step was saying, yeah, she divided by 4, you said, right? Well, it took 4 hours for this to happen. So how long does it, how many degrees do you drop every hour? You just divide that by 4. Yeah, so every hour we drop 5 degrees. So this is negative 5 degrees Celsius per hour. All right? So that's what, if you unfold this question, it's a lot to it, right? All right.